Welcome to Addis News Hour. I'm Solomon Danye. Thanks for joining me. The Ethiopian National Defense Force announced that it has blocked all escaping routes of the TPLF remnants. Local and foreign anti-peace elements are selecting conflict-sensitive areas to destabilize Ethiopia, it was said. Haptam Ashagre tells us more.
Before 2 weeks, the Ethiopian National Defense Force said it is taking proper measures to close all escaping routes to block the move of junta mafias out of Ethiopia. Briefing journalists Friday, head of Defense Combat Engineering of the Ethiopian National Defense Force, Lieutenant General Bacha Dabale said that PLF mafias' escaping trials have failed.
The TPLF have set advanced preparations to run out of Ethiopia. They have given forgery ID to its soldiers. We found that the entire fake names given to members of the mafia on their forgery IDs are Oromo names. This shows the plan to run through the state of Amhara peacefully. Unfortunately, our defense force found this ID from killed TPLF soldiers. Finally, the TPLF plan has once again proved unsuccessful.
The nation's defense force is striving hard to restore conflicts and instabilities in other parts of the country, he stressed. According to the Lieutenant General Bacha, the rest of the PLF mafias are relentlessly working to instigate and provoking conflicts and instabilities among Ethiopians. Bacha underlined that the National Defense Force understood that the PLF mafias are trying to work with other anti-peace elements to create havoc across the country. While as public relations head of Ethiopian National Defense Force, Getnet Adana, for his part, indicated that local and foreign anti-peace elements are selecting conflict-sensitive areas to destabilize Ethiopia, it was said.
Anti-peace elements are selecting conflict-sensitive areas to destabilize Ethiopia. They have been working to create conflicts and instabilities by killing icon persons, sponsoring ethnic clashes as well as religious tensions. Thus, we can mention the command case, instabilities in Amhara, Benshangul Gumuz and Oromia states. These places are too sensitive to create havoc. To make once clear, our defense understood all these conditions. As a result, there is no domestic and foreign power stop us to make our country peaceful.
The National Ethiopian Defense Force calls upon the general public as well as contesting political parties to work hand in hand to bring peace and stability to the nation.
Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen had a discussion yesterday with Ambassador Oleg Ozerov. The two sides discussed preparations for the second Russia-Africa summit, which will be held in 2022 in Africa. The Secretariat gave briefings about the tasks and responsibilities of his office, the creation of Association of Economic Cooperation with the African states, which will bring major Russian and African companies to work together. As part of the preparation for the summit, consultations will be held with AU and African countries this summer. During the discussion, Demeke told the Secretariat Ethiopia's commitment to strengthen the long-standing relations with Russia, appreciated the initiative of Russia to establish the platform and requested to host the second Russia-Africa summit in Addis Ababa. The two sides also exchanged ideas on cooperation in the areas of security, innovation, technology, agriculture, energy, nuclear medicine, geology, exploration, and so forth. The first Russia-Africa summit was held in October 2019 in Sochi, Russia, in which Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed took part. Ambassador Oleg Ozerov also presented the invitation of Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to Demeke Mekonnen to visit Moscow. United Nations Security Council members acknowledged the efforts by the government of Ethiopia to provide humanitarian assistance and increased humanitarian access in Tigray region. Ethiopian Permanent Mission in response appreciates members of the Council for their support to Ethiopia. Sintayo Tamrat has more.
Since Ethiopia started law enforcement operation in Tigray after the TPLF junta attacked the National Defense Force North Command, the United Nations Security Council has dwelt on the issue several times. In its latest event on Thursday, the Security Council members acknowledged the efforts by the government of Ethiopia to provide humanitarian assistance and to provide increased humanitarian access in Tigray region. The members of the Security Council recognized nevertheless that humanitarian challenges remain. They called for a scaled-up humanitarian response and unfettered humanitarian access to all people in need, including in the context of the food security situation. The members also called for a continuation of international relief efforts in a manner consistent with the United Nations guiding principles of humanitarian emergency assistance, including humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence. The members of the Security Council expressed concerns about allegations of human rights violations and abuses in Tigray region and called for investigations to find those responsible and bring them to justice. They welcomed the joint investigation by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission into alleged human rights violations and abuses. The members of the Security Council also welcomed the engagement on the issue of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, stressing the need for full compliance with international law. The members reiterated their strong support to the regional and sub-regional efforts and organizations, namely the African Union and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, and underscored the importance of their continued engagement. The members of the Security Council reaffirmed their strong commitment to the sovereignty, political independence, territorial integrity, and unity of Ethiopia. Ethiopian Permanent Mission to the UN for its part expressed its appreciation to the friendly members of the Council for their constructive considerations, continued support, and understanding of the situation in Ethiopia. The mission underscored that the law enforcement operation in Ethiopia is an internal affair regulated by the laws of the country, including human rights laws. The operation undertaken to restore law and order in the Tigray region is within the sovereign purview of the state. Ethiopia is currently providing a significant portion of the humanitarian assistance delivered to those in need and will continue to allocate the maximum available resources, the mission said. The mission called on international partners to scale up assistance to satisfy humanitarian needs in the Tigray region and beyond. The commitment to investigate and ensure accountability for alleged violations of human rights will be upheld, the permanent mission stated.
In a related development, Ethiopian Minister of Foreign Affairs dubs UN security latest stance as a big-time recognition for Ethiopia. In an exclusive interview with the TV language, the spokesperson, Ambassador Dina Mufti, said the statement disproves the wrong narratives about Ethiopia.
Well, this is a big-time recognition of the effort being undertaken by the Ethiopian government to deliver assistance to those affected because of the operation that has been undertaken to enforce law and order in that part of the country. It is in the meantime also disproves the rumors of the absence of any effort, the fake news about the negligence on the part of the Ethiopian government about this relief, about operations, and definitely it is a recognition to what Ethiopia is doing, and this is what we have been saying all along, this is what we have been telling the rest of the world all along. And the Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, particularly other Ethiopian institutions, pertinent institutions, our embassies and missions abroad were trying to convey this message to the rest of the world. We were trying to impress on the rest of the world about Ethiopia's effort so as to boost relief assistance, though it looked in the past that it fell on the deaf ear. Though now the UN Security Council, the highest organ on this globe, the highest political organ of the globe, has given recognition to this effort and other efforts as well.
The statement is a clear message to global media, activists, and some governments that have been misrepresenting Ethiopia, the spokesperson said.
This especially kindly advises those media outlets and activists who were wrongly misrepresenting Ethiopia and who is wrongly misrepresenting what has been going on by way of law enforcement, because this also assures that what Ethiopia has done is purely an internal matter, because it says the UN Security Council reiterates its commitment to Ethiopia's unity, territorial integrity, and sovereignty. This is a big statement. And this means whatever Ethiopia has been doing by way of enforcing law and order has been an internal matter of the country. This is what we have been saying all along. Though others were not caring about it, they were portraying it as if Ethiopia is, doing this vis-a-vis another country, another independent country. So this is really, one is an advice and notification to those who, either deliberately or with ignorance, have been carrying around wrong information about what has been going on.
The Council's recognition to AU and IGAD engagement in the matter, as well as regional disputes including GERD and Ethio-Sudan border dispute, is a reassurance that Ethiopia's principle of solving African problems by Africans is the right one, he said.
UN is a global organization. IGAD is a regional organization, whereas AU is a continental organization. There is a complementarity of these organizations. And Ethiopia has been enforcing rules and regulations which these organizations have enshrined in their charters. One of it is actually Ethiopia has been subscribing to solving African problems via African means, with African efforts. This is what Ethiopia has been doing with regard to the trilateral negotiations on the GERD. This is also reassuring Ethiopia, strengthening Ethiopia's positions, and reiterating the rightness of the Ethiopian position with regard to the invoking African positions when it comes to trilateral issues, trilateral negotiations, because we are undertaking this under the auspices of the African Union, which is our continental body.
Vietnam expresses delight over progress made in the bilateral relations with Ethiopia over the past 45 years. The country's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bathuna Son, on Thursday had a phone call with Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Ethiopia, Demeqa Mekonnen, to discuss bilateral ties and coordination at multilateral forums on the occasion of the two nations marking the 45th anniversary of their diplomatic relations. Congratulating Son on his recent appointment as Foreign Minister, Demeqa said the Ethiopian government attaches importance to fostering friendship and collaboration with Vietnam. The two sides also discussed a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern. Son said Vietnam supports the settlement of all international disputes through peaceful ways in line with the UN international law and the UN Charter. World Bank has granted $907 million to 3 projects implemented in Ethiopia. A deal of support has been signed today by the Ministry of Finance and World Bank. The agreement was signed by Finance Minister Ahmed Shide and World Bank Group East Africa Director Osman Dion. The agreement will be used to support 3 core projects. The first $200 million agreement is to be spent on micro and small enterprises in Ethiopia. The additional $500 million agreement is to create a private sector of capital and sustainable financial options for the country. The last deal of $207 million is the financial support to reduce the risk of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ethiopia. Residents at Ethiopia's Jimma town vote to continue support and cooperation until the completion of Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam project. They have contributed a lot to the construction of the country's flagship project since its commencement. Kasaon Jane compares the views as follows.
When I was a government official as well, I had given my monthly salary to the construction of the dam, and after that, I privately bought a 10,000 bond. For the future as well, I'm going to mobilize the public, encourage and do many things for the completion of the dam, as it is about on a good move. Concerning the dam construction, in my opinion, I promise to contribute whatever I have till the project completion. Similarly, if there are people who are not with the notion of this flagship project, I devotedly will help them to participate in various ways as much as they can afford and pay to play the share to the completion of the dam, which is my great endeavor.
ከተማሪ እኔ ዩኒት ሊደር ነበርኩ ክፍለ አለቃ ነበርኩ ክፍለ አለቃውኛ ያለሁት ከተማሪ 10 ብር እየሰበሰብኩ
When I was a student, I was a monitor of my class, and during the time, I was trying to play my share through fundraising by collecting money from the students, by coordinating, and then we had bought a bond with our names and had given the bond to the junior secondary school so far. Right after that, I privately bought on my own, and then we together, through an association, bought a 10,000 bird bond. And again, we also will buy bonds considering the dam as it is part and parcel of our life. I strongly believe that it does not belong to the party or a certain government. Party and government will come and go, but the dam is our resource and we must safeguard it. As a result, I'd like to urge Ethiopians we should finalize our dam, paying whatever the cost, being hand in glove.
Ethiopia is the source of the Blue Nile and contributes over 85% of the Nile's stream flow. To this day, Egypt and Sudan are using 100% of the water, sticking to their 1959 colonial agreement between them. Not being signatories, Ethiopia and other upstream states do not recognize this agreement. Ethiopia is at the eve of completing the Great Renaissance Dam. Costing over $5 billion that is being paid by ordinary Ethiopians. This dam will generate 5.1 gigawatt of power, and it is a non-consumptive, eco-friendly, existential necessity to millions. The three countries have been in dispute over the construction, filling and operation of this dam. Even thought this dam provides major benefits to Sudan and Egypt in terms of reducing evaporation loss, silt, sedimentation and unexpected flood. This dam is not just about generating power. It is a matter of survival for millions of Ethiopians who deserve a dignified life as their Egyptian counterparts.
This is Addis News Hour. State Chief of Amhara Agenyo Teshaga said federal and regional governments are working to seek lasting solutions to stop the killing of Amhara ethnics. Agenyo, however, said that though most of demonstrations in various towns against the arbitrary killings were peaceful, there was a tendency to hijack some of the events out of political motives. Demis Mokrel tells us more.
Head of Amhara Regional State Agenyo Teshaga gave press briefing on current issues. The briefing focuses on the attack of members of the Amhara community residing in Oromia and Benishangul Gumuz regional states, as well as the recent killings in Amhara region, particularly in North Shoa and Oromia special zones. Agenyo blames anti-Amhara and Oromo people OLF Shene for the attack and said both the federal and regional governments are working to seek lasting solutions.
በማንነታችን ምክንያት የሚደረግ ጥቃት ባለፉት 50-60 ዓመታት የተዘራ ዘር ነው።
We are attacked because of our identity, and it is a cumulative impact of the hate narratives by TPLF over the last 50 years. We are currently working to seek lasting solutions for the killing of our people, and we learned that it needs lots of struggle. We are currently working closely with the Oromia region and federal governments to stop such killings, and I believe it bears result in the near future.
ከፍተኛ ትግል ማድረግ አለብን በተለይም ደግሞ የአማራ ክልል መንግስት ከኦሮሚያ ብሔራዊ ክልላዊ መንግስት ጋር
Agenyo said the demonstrations held at various cities and towns of Amhara regions that protest the killing of Amharas have been largely peaceful, and he thanked the youths for their contribution in this regard. Agenyo, who noted the demonstration was appropriate, also indicated those who hijacked the demonstration for political motives will be held responsible.
ሰልፉን ወደ ነውጥ ለመቀየር ወደ ግጭት ለመቀየር ታልሞ ተሰርቷል.
There was an attempt to change the peaceful protest into violence, but we managed it before it went wrong, and I thank our youth and security forces for doing so. Some of the messages displayed in the demonstration were improper, and they never represent the Amhara people. So I want to make clear to our all Ethiopian people that this is not the issue of our people.
Agenyo expressed members of the Amhara community are living almost in every part of Ethiopia, and he underlined the need of a people is only peaceful coexistence. In so doing, the regional government's effort to ensure peace both in and out of the region will continue further, according to Agenyo.
Welcome back. You're watching Addis News Hour. Ambo University Referral Hospital inaugurates oxygen production center that can produce 700 cylinders of oxygen per day. The center is believed to have paramount importance to fill gaps of oxygen shortage for COVID-19 patients. Daniel Kassan has more.
The prevalence of COVID-19 pandemic in Ethiopia is increasing in an alarming rate parallel to the bigger number of patients who require breathing appliances. Currently, over 1,000 of patients are in an intensive care units, and this oxygen production center in Ambo University Referral Hospital is a plus to the effort to save lives of citizens. University President Dr. Tadeusz Kana says the quality of the oxygen is 99% pure, which may not be found in the market.
The machine you observe here has 80 cubic meter production capacity per day. We have 2 units and each of them can fill 350 cylinders per day. The quality of the oxygen is 99% pure, which may not be found in the market.
The oxygen production factory has huge significance to supply health facilities in the western part of Ethiopia. In the health facilities in the zone, there is only one hospital that can supply oxygen. Ambo becomes the second one with reliable capacity. Director General of Ambo University Referral Hospital, Dr. Gonfa Moti, for his part, articulated the establishment of oxygen production plant in the hospital is cost-effective.
Our university's hospital used to spend 2.3 million birr only for oxygen per year. The facility which you watch here is having huge capacity. It by far surpasses our demand. We have set aside over 25 million birr for the facilities. We have exerted much effort to realize this factory which can supply oxygen to other hospitals.
The center is believed to have paramount importance to fill gaps of oxygen shortage that's about to arise due to the increase in COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
The sixth general elections approach. The unexpected small voters' registration turnout perplexed many who closely follow the process. One among these groups is the Ethiopian civil society organizations for elections, which attributed voters' discouragement to the recurrent security problems observed in the country. The organization said it engaged in voters' education via various media platforms in different languages to motivate the people. Goshmaliso reports.
The Ethiopian Civil Society Organizations for Elections, SECO, was established in 2019 with the view to observe and monitor elections in Ethiopia. The sixth general elections Ethiopia is about to hold becomes their first election experience since their emergence. The coordinator of SECO, Abarra Hailemariam, said the organization is engaged in voters' education via various media platforms in different languages.
SECO used the opportunity to undertake different kinds of, to undertake a multimedia election platform. The multimedia election platform uses mainstream media, the social media, digital media, IEC material, and other, tools to reach the general public. So I vote is the theme of our multimedia platform, voter education. So we don't go out and teach in-person people.
NB's laxity to grant them accreditation hampers their effort to deploy their observers to all polling stations, Abarra said.
The accreditation was secured lately, so we're struggling to deploy our observers in different parts of the country. And now we are observing, and not fully observing, but partly. For instance, we got the accreditation for 90 of our observers this week. as you know it very well, it is difficult to distribute the accreditation badge to our observers who are located in different parts of the country.
Consortium of Christian Relief and Development Association is also preparing itself to play its fair share in the upcoming general election in Amhara, Oromia, southern states and other remote areas. The association urged civil society organizations and the media to discharge their responsibility for the peaceful conduct of the election.
The media is extremely important in this election. I just want to really emphasize that media is the one that can create a peaceful election, a peaceful community in everywhere, or a warmonger or a war into the country, if you like. Any slight mistake or slight reporting, diverted reporting, can create a problem in the country.
Concerning about the low turnout of voters' registration, Avarra attributed the problem to people's insecurity.
The turnout of the people to get registered, the reason behind it, the conflict that's going on in this country, might have, contributed in discouraging people, because security is the primary needs of society. So people want to really make sure that they'll go in peace. Their kids are going to school without fear of risks and so on.
The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia is considering to postpone the deadline of voters' registration.